Have you ever found yourself sitting in your favorite chair, maybe with a cup of tea in hand, and suddenly it hits you? Life feels different now. The days seem to fly by a little faster, and the things that used to matter so much, like climbing the career ladder or saving up for that dream vacation, don't hold the same weight they once did. Maybe you've even caught yourself thinking, what really matters now? What are the things that make life truly rich and meaningful at this stage? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we get older, our priorities naturally shift. And while money and material things have their place, they're not the things that fill our hearts or give us that deep sense of fulfillment. So today, let's talk about the most precious treasures in old age, the things that matter more than money. These are the things that bring us joy, peace, and a sense of purpose, no matter what our bank account looks like. In this video, we'll explore 5 of these treasures. They're not complicated or out of reach. In fact, you might already have some of them in your life. But sometimes we forget to appreciate them or give them the attention they deserve. So, let's take a moment to reflect on what truly makes life beautiful as we age. The first treasure we'll talk about is relationships. Now, I know this might sound obvious, but hear me out. Relationships, whether it's with family, friends, or even a beloved pet, are the foundation of a happy and meaningful life. Think about it. When you look back on your life, what are the moments that stand out the most? Chances are, they're the moments you shared with someone you love. It's not about how many people you know or how often you see them. It's about the quality of those connections. A simple phone call with a grandchild, a coffee date with an old friend, or even a quiet evening with your spouse. These are the moments that fill your heart. And here's the beautiful thing. As we get older, we often have more time to nurture these relationships. We can slow down, really listen, and be present in a way that maybe we couldn't when life was busier. But let's be honest, relationships aren't always easy. Maybe you've lost touch with some people over the years, or perhaps you've experienced the pain of losing someone you love. That's why it's so important to cherish the relationships you have now. Reach out to that friend you haven't talked to in a while, write a letter to your grandchildren, or simply take a moment to tell someone how much they mean to you. These small acts of love and connection can make all the difference. And don't forget, relationships aren't just about the people you've known for years. They're also about the new connections you can make. Maybe it's joining a book club, volunteering in your community, or even striking up a conversation with a neighbor. These new relationships can bring fresh energy and perspective into your life, and they remind us that it's never too late to make new friends. Now let's move on to the second treasure, health and vitality. I know, this one might feel a little tricky, especially if you're dealing with aches, pains, or health challenges. But here's the thing. Health isn't just about being free of illness. It's about feeling good in your body and having the energy to enjoy life. Think about it. What good is money if you don't have the health to enjoy it? That's why taking care of your body is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. And no, I'm not talking about running marathons or lifting heavy weights, unless that's your thing. It's about finding small, sustainable ways to stay active and nourish your body. Maybe it's a daily walk around the neighborhood, a gentle yoga class, or even just stretching while you watch TV. And let's not forget about the importance of a good diet. Eating well doesn't have to be complicated. It's about choosing foods that make you feel good, fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and maybe a little treat now and then, because life's too short to skip dessert. The key is to listen to your body and give it what it needs to thrive. But here's something I want you to remember. Health isn't just physical. It's also about your mental and emotional well-being. Taking time to relax, meditate, or simply enjoy a hobby can do wonders for your overall health. For example, have you ever noticed how a good laugh with a friend or a peaceful afternoon in the garden can lift your spirits? Those moments are just as important as eating your veggies or getting your steps in. And let's not forget about sleep. A good night's rest is one of the most underrated aspects of health, especially as we age. If you're struggling with sleep, try creating a calming bedtime routine. Maybe it's reading a book, listening to soft music, or sipping a cup of herbal tea. Small changes like these can make a big difference in how you feel each day. The third treasure we'll talk about is gratitude. Now, this might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Gratitude is about focusing on the good in your life, even when things aren't perfect. It's about appreciating the small joys, a beautiful sunset, a kind word from a stranger, or even just a cozy blanket on a chilly day. When we practice gratitude, it shifts our perspective. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, we start to see all the blessings that are already in our lives. And the best part? Gratitude is something we can cultivate no matter our circumstances. It's a habit, and like any habit, it gets easier with practice. One way to start is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big things. It could be as simple as a good cup of coffee or a phone call from a friend. Over time, you'll find that this simple practice can have a profound impact on your mood and outlook on life. But gratitude doesn't have to be limited to a journal. You can practice it in small ways throughout your day. For example, when you're having a meal, take a moment to appreciate the flavors and the effort that went into preparing it. Or when you're out for a walk, notice the beauty of nature around you. The sound of birds, the rustle of leaves, or the warmth of the sun on your skin. These little moments of gratitude can add up to a much happier and more fulfilling life. And here's something else to consider. Gratitude isn't just about feeling good, it's also about sharing that feeling with others. When you express gratitude to the people in your life, it strengthens your relationships and spreads positivity. A simple "thank you" or "I appreciate you" can go a long way in making someone's day, and yours too. So there you have it. 3 of the most precious treasures in old age: relationships, health, and gratitude. These are the things that bring us joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose. And the best part? They're all within your reach. You don't need a lot of money or fancy things to enjoy them. All you need is a little time, attention, and love. But we're not done yet. There are 2 more treasures to explore, and I think you're going to love what's coming next. So let's keep going and discover what else makes life truly rich and meaningful as we age. Now that we've talked about relationships, health, and gratitude, let's dive into the 4th treasure: purpose and passion. This one is so important because it's what gives our lives direction and meaning. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, what gets you out of bed? What makes you feel excited or fulfilled? That's your purpose, and it's something that can evolve and grow with you no matter your age. For some people, purpose might come from family being there for your children, grandchildren, or even great-grandchildren. For others, it might come from a hobby, a creative pursuit, or even volunteering in the community. The key is to find something that lights you up inside, something that makes you feel like you're contributing to the world in your own unique way. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what if I don't know what my purpose is? That's okay. Finding your purpose isn't about having all the answers right away. It's about exploring, trying new things, and paying attention to what brings you joy. Maybe it's something you've always wanted to do but never had the time for, like painting, gardening, or learning a new language. Or maybe it's something completely new that you've never considered before. The beauty of this stage of life is that you have the freedom to explore. You're not tied down by the same responsibilities you might have had earlier in life. So, take advantage of that freedom. Try a new class, join a club, or even start a small project at home. You might be surprised at what you discover about yourself. And here's something else to keep in mind. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as sharing your wisdom with others, being a good listener, or even just bringing a smile to someone's face. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can have the biggest impact. Let me give you an example. There's a woman named Margaret who lives in a small town. After retiring, she felt a little lost, like she didn't have a clear purpose anymore. One day, she decided to volunteer at her local library, helping children learn to read. At first, she wasn't sure if it was the right fit, but over time, she realized how much joy it brought her. Not only was she helping the kids, but she was also learning new things herself and making new friends. That simple act of volunteering gave her a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. So, if you're feeling unsure about your purpose, start small. Think about what you enjoy, what you're good at, and what makes you feel alive. And don't be afraid to try something new. You never know where it might lead. Now, let's move on to the fifth and final treasure, peace of mind. This one might sound a little abstract, but it's incredibly important. Peace of mind is about feeling calm, content, and at ease with yourself and your life. It's about letting go of worry, regret, and the need to control everything, and instead embracing the present moment. Easier said than done, right? I know life can be messy, and it's not always easy to let go of the things that weigh us down. But here's the thing. Peace of mind isn't about having a perfect life. It's about finding a sense of calm and acceptance, even when things aren't perfect. One way to cultivate peace of mind is through mindfulness. This might sound like a buzzword, but it's really just about being present and fully engaged in the moment. For example, when you're eating, really savor each bite. When you're talking to someone, really listen to what they're saying. And when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, take a few deep breaths and remind yourself that this moment too shall pass. Another way to find peace of mind is by letting go of things you can't control. I know this can be hard, especially if you're someone who likes to plan and organize. But the truth is, there are some things in life that are simply out of our hands. And the more we try to control them, the more stressed and anxious we become. Instead, try focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude. When you let go of the need to control everything else, you'll find that a sense of peace naturally follows. And finally, don't underestimate the power of forgiveness, both for others and for yourself. Holding on to grudges or regrets can weigh heavily on your heart and mind. But when you choose to forgive, you free yourself from that burden. It's not always easy, but it's one of the most powerful ways to find peace. Let me share a story to illustrate this. There's a man named John who spent years holding on to resentment toward a former friend. They had a falling out many years ago, and John couldn't let go of the hurt. It affected his mood, his relationships, and even his health. One day, he decided to write a letter to his friend. Not to send it, but just to express his feelings. As he wrote, he realized how much energy he had wasted holding on to that anger. Eventually, he made the choice to forgive, not for his friend's sake, but for his own. That act of forgiveness brought him a sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. So there you have it, 5 of the most precious treasures in old age: relationships, health, gratitude, purpose, and peace of mind. These are the things that truly matter, the things that bring us joy, fulfillment, and a deep sense of contentment. But before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on how these treasures are connected. Relationships give us love and connection. Health gives us the energy to enjoy life. Gratitude helps us appreciate the good. Purpose gives us direction. And peace of mind allows us to fully embrace it all. The beauty of these treasures is that they're not out of reach. They're not things you have to buy or achieve. They're things you can cultivate, nurture, and enjoy every single day. And the more you focus on them, the richer and more meaningful your life will become. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these treasures resonates most with you? Are there any you'd like to focus on more in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and experiences. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Remember, life is a journey, and it's never too late to make it a beautiful one. Here's to living your best life at any age. As we've been exploring these precious treasures in old age, relationships, health, gratitude, purpose, and peace of mind, it's clear that they're all deeply interconnected. Each one enriches the others, creating a tapestry of fulfillment and joy that money simply can't buy. But before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on how we can bring all of these treasures together in our daily lives. One of the most powerful ways to do this is by creating daily rituals that honor these treasures. Rituals don't have to be complicated or time-consuming. They're simply small, intentional practices that help us stay connected to what matters most. For example, you might start your day with a few minutes of gratitude journaling, followed by a gentle stretch or walk to nurture your health. Later, you could call a loved one or spend time on a hobby that brings you joy. And at the end of the day, you might take a few moments to reflect on what went well and let go of any worries. These rituals don't just happen on their own, they require a little planning and intention, but the effort is worth it. Over time, these small practices can become habits that shape your days and ultimately your life. Let me give you an example. There's a man named Robert who starts every morning by sitting on his porch with a cup of coffee, watching the sunrise. He uses this time to think about what he's grateful for and set an intention for the day. Later, he takes a short walk around his neighborhood, waving to neighbors and enjoying the fresh air. In the evening, he spends a few minutes writing in a journal, reflecting on the day's highlights. These simple rituals help him stay grounded, connected, and focused on what truly matters. Another way to bring these treasures together is by sharing them with others. One of the beautiful things about life is that the more we give, the more we receive. When we share our time, our love, or our wisdom with others, we not only enrich their lives but also deepen our own sense of purpose and connection. For example, you might volunteer to mentor someone younger, sharing the lessons you've learned over the years. Or you could organize a weekly gathering with friends or family, creating a space for laughter, stories, and connection. Even small acts of kindness, like baking cookies for a neighbor or sending a thoughtful note, can make a big difference. And let's not forget the power of storytelling. As we get older, we accumulate a wealth of experiences and wisdom. Sharing these stories with others, whether it's with your grandchildren, a community group, or even through writing, can be incredibly fulfilling. It's a way to pass on your legacy and remind yourself of the richness of your own life. For instance, there's a woman named Evelyn who started a storytelling night with her grandchildren. Every Friday, they gather around the fireplace and she shares stories from her childhood, her career, and her travels. Not only do her grandchildren love hearing these stories, but Evelyn also finds joy in reliving those memories and seeing them through her grandchildren's eyes. Now, let's talk about embracing change. Life is full of transitions, especially as we age. Some of these changes can be challenging, like adjusting to retirement, dealing with health issues, or coping with the loss of loved ones. But even in the midst of change, there's an opportunity to grow and find new meaning. The key is to approach change with curiosity and openness. Instead of resisting it, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? For example, if you're no longer able to do something you once loved, like playing a sport or traveling, think about what new activities or experiences you can explore. Maybe it's taking up a new hobby, learning a skill, or finding joy in simpler pleasures. Let me share a story to illustrate this. There's a man named George who was an avid golfer for most of his life. When arthritis made it too painful to play, he felt a deep sense of loss. But instead of dwelling on what he couldn't do, he decided to try something new, painting. At first, he was hesitant. He'd never considered himself an artist. But over time, he discovered a passion for it. Now he spends hours in his studio, creating beautiful landscapes that remind him of the golf courses he once loved. And remember, it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Whether it's leaning on family and friends, joining a support group, or seeking professional guidance. Reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. Finally, let's touch on the importance of self-compassion. As we navigate the ups and downs of life, it's easy to be hard on ourselves, to dwell on our mistakes, compare ourselves to others, or feel like we're not doing enough. But the truth is, we're all doing the best we can with what we have. Self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you'd offer a dear friend. It's about recognizing that you're human, that you're allowed to make mistakes, and that you're worthy of love and care just as you are. One way to practice self-compassion is by changing the way you talk to yourself. Instead of criticizing yourself for what you didn't do, celebrate what you did do. Instead of focusing on your flaws, remind yourself of your strengths. And when things don't go as planned, give yourself permission to feel your emotions without judgment. For example, If you're feeling frustrated because you didn't accomplish everything on your to-do list, try reframing your thoughts. Instead of saying, I didn't get enough done, say, I did my best today, and that's enough. This small shift in perspective can make a big difference in how you feel about yourself and your day. So as we come to the end of this video, let's take a moment to recap the 5 most precious treasures in old age. Relationships, the connections that fill our hearts with love and joy. Health, the energy and vitality that allow us to enjoy life. Gratitude, the practice of appreciating the good no matter how small. Purpose, the sense of direction and meaning that keeps us motivated. Peace of mind, the calm and contentment that come from letting go and living in the moment. These treasures are within your reach, and they're yours to cultivate and enjoy. Remember, it's never too late to make small changes that can have a big impact on your happiness and well-being. Before we say goodbye, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these treasures resonates most with you? Are there any practices or habits you'd like to start incorporating into your life? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to let me know. Your support means the world to me and helps spread this message to others who might need it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. We're here to share more tips, stories, and inspiration to help you live your best life at any age. Finally, if you know someone who might benefit from this message, whether it's a friend, family member, or neighbor, please share this video with them. Sometimes a little encouragement is all we need to start making positive changes in our lives. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, the most precious treasures in life aren't things you can buy. They're the moments, connections, and experiences that fill your heart and soul. Here's to living your best life at any age.